Howdy fluffbutts, it's me, Faolan Wildpaw and Cortez Colt. Welcome back to the Yay or Nay series. All of you are making me very happy for thrashing the likes goal once again. But now, I'm going to test you viewers on how much you really like this series. If you want to see a review made on the next episode, look before you sleep, I'm gonna have to require 10 likes on this video. Reach that goal and that review will be created. I know you can do it, everyone. Make me proud.
You can do it!
And now, without further ado, it's time for the Dragonshy review. Throughout the first 6 episodes, Fluttershy has been displayed as this meek animal-loving peacemaker who lacks a slice of self-confidence. We've only had one solo character-focused episode that brought out more development in one of our 6 protagonists, Applebuck's season for Applejack. So I was personally glad that this 7th episode draws more attention to the pastel pink-maned Pegasus herself, with a story that truly challenged her place in the main 6 for audiences to judge.
Let's not.
Thanks to a Reddit post that I stumbled upon while researching for this review, Dragonshy was part of the original episode bible for Friendship is Magic. The concept for the episode was composed by Lauren Frost, but the task of writing the story would be handed to future showrunner Meghan McCarthy. She is one of the most dedicated members of staff that the show has had to offer, not to mention writing over 30 episodes, the lyrics for 25 songs, 2 of the absolute best Equestria Girls movies, and even the 2017 movie.
Hey, that's pretty good.
But how does Meghan fare in her first episode? Dragonshy is all about a cloud of smoke coming from a sleeping dragon which disrupts the skies, and the main 6 are tasked to try and convince the dragon to leave. However, as the plot progresses onwards, Fluttershy becomes increasingly nervous about the journey at hoof. Was Dragonshy an episode that deserves its commendable recognition, or is it just overrated more than the pile of gold in the dragon's cave? Well, grab your hiking kit and scrub on some face paint, because this review is going to be a little different than my previous ones. This is going to be a collab review between me and another fellow YouTuber friend of mine, who in fact has never seen the show, HMG-SteveVA. This is only a small experiment to see if anyone else has different opinions than mine on these episodes.
Do we have what it takes? Oh, we can do it.
So, take it away, Stevey Boi.
As someone who only came to be part of the fandom well after its original runtime, I can easily say that seeing the main 6 without the lenses of a review, yes, I'm just as ashamed as some of you are, was not the easiest thing in the world to watch. After all, I only took a look at this episode in particular for my notes, which didn't help me much. If you ask me which episode to start with, I couldn't tell you, but for what it's worth, I did like this episode. It perfectly showed Fluttershy's slow development. Maybe stunted, no thanks to the writing team being pressured for a deadline. It would only go up from here. I mean, come on. Who else do you know that could act motherly towards a frickin' dragon? Aside from the mother of dragons, of course.
In relation to the characters featured in this episode, Dragonshy had to show its fairly young audience that Fluttershy wasn't just a doormat character who's got no significant qualities. After watching it several times for this review, I can certainly say that Fluttershy's character growth gets emphasized on strongly. In later episodes down the season line, we see that this fear still has much power over her, which is actually understandable rational behavior. You may get over your dismay of something that triggers your fight or flight response one time, but instinctively, that fear is still there, despite knowing how to react to it appropriately afterwards. That's one of the reasons why I respect the epilogue.
Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
The opening of Dragonshy is a visual sensation. We finally get to see the introduction of where Fluttershy resides in Ponyville. Like, woof, Wow! With the many adorable critters and animals strewn across the patio to being underneath the bridge, the state of this cottage is wonderful. The Pegasi's passion for caring for animals was already established in the second part of Friendship is Magic, but this mere introduction to the 7th episode amplifies it greatly. Heck, we even get to see further details about Fluttershy's relationship with her
devil bunny,
Angel. It was hilarious seeing Angel refusing to eat the rest of his veggies like a picky child, and Fluttershy enacting this encouraging mother vibe.
Just 3 more bites. 2 more bites. 1 more bite. Pretty please.
I want some more.
However, I swear, with how Angel acts sometimes, you'd think he's got some kind of sentience he's not letting anyone in on. Not even his owner as well.
How does Fluttershy put up with you furry little things?
With great power comes great responsibility.
Suddenly, after a small moment of concern for her bun, a mysterious dark cloud blankets the sky above her head. The appearance of this unnerving presence was a good way to end this prologue. However, I found it a bit odd how Fluttershy just quickly laid exposition on the cloud itself.
Because of that giant cloud of scary black smoke?
As if we didn't know what it was upon first glance.
I'll take that as a yes.
Never did I think I would relate more to a sadist rabbit.
Your 9 lives are over, kitty!
You don't know me!
The episode rushes back into the action, with Fluttershy running into town trying to alert every pony of what is lurking in the sky, but no pony appears to pay her any attention. Fluttershy's timid conduct gets thrown into the middle of the crowd here. I love how authentic it is presented, like how we, in our busy lives when we go out into society, ignore the hundreds of bystanders and strangers that walk past us every day. It's almost laughable even how the ponies are unintentionally dismissing Fluttershy's unassertive warnings because their heads are already full of more important stuff.
Future Equestria ball bouncing record holder, this calls for a celebration. And Pepsi.
I'm surprised that frame of Flutter's derping when she hits Pinky's tail isn't a meme yet, since this episode aired like a decade ago. It just gives me some strange form of enjoyment that I love as an artist myself.
The way the cloud expands in size in each shot with Fluttershy was great and keeps the threat slowly growing. I only wish that these background ponies had some kind of purpose. But thanks Celestia, that Twilight conveniently rolls around to undermine Fluttershy's efforts to make every pony aware.
Listen up! Smoke is spreading over all of Equestria.
Thank you, Twilight Sparkle, for being more of a plot pusher than Princess Cadence in Season 3.
He's back!
From what I've seen here in this episode compared to future iterations of Book Horse, you could literally replace her with a robot that just repeats,
move plot forward,
Take out dragon.
praise sunbutt.
Beep boop beep.
Hi girls!
Dude, that's creepy.
The twist of the cloud not being a fire, but in fact a dragon was nice. I just don't like how Twilight's abrupt appearance subverts Fluttershy's temperament.
The negotiations were short.
The next scene takes place in the Golden Oak Library, where the main 6 have gathered to find out that Princess Celestia has relayed news to Twilight about the dragon.
According to Princess Celestia, he's taking a nap. His snoring is what's causing all this smoke. Princess Celestia has given us this mission, and we must not fail. If we do, Equestria will be covered in smoke for the next 100 years.
How the reveal of one dragon's smoke is able to create a worldwide threat for 100 years makes for a solid threat for our heroes to deal with. I also particularly liked how it showed Rainbow's way of resolution of the dragon problem.
Give him the boot! Take that!
well, I can't exactly blame RD for the idea. That kind of method is generally popular in fantasy stories, like this one. Although, I'm glad that for the sake of the episode, it's instantly frowned upon.
We need to encourage him to take a nap somewhere else.
No!
Princess Celestia has given us this mission, and we must not fail.
This was the first time I actually questioned Celestia's status and, quite frankly, the need of including her presence in this story. If she knew about the dragon in advance to telling Twilight, then Why couldn't she have dealt with it? She's been through many traumatic experiences and has been the ruler of Equestria for over 1,000 years. Surely she might have been able to deal with a sleeping dragon.
It's coming from a dragon.
If the main six were clueless about what was causing the smoke from the get-go, this episode could have had suspense built up for a big story about discovery.
Such wasted potential.
After the tiny discussion about how they will save the day, a badass preparation montage smashes onto our screens. This is one explosion of characterization and I love it.
Let's go!
Nice nod to Commando right there with that war paint on RD.
It's very suitable to the 5 mares, Rainbow with the face paint, AJ with her family assisting her pack, Pinky with her party randomness, Rarity with her need of formality, and Fluttershy with more protection than what's necessary.
Obviously, of course Pinky wouldn't pack anything seriously impactful for the mission. It's kinda accepted at this rate, knowing her antics in the last 6 episodes.
Quiet!
The montage ends with them all being outside, without any of the montage's antics. Shamefully, as Twilight explains the mission at Hoof. I did appreciate the small geography lesson that's used for some clever exposition about mountains.
Looks pretty cold up there.
You bet it is. The higher you go, the chillier it gets.
I almost questioned how RD would know all about altitudinal temperatures, but considering Cloudsdale is pretty much close to the sun, I decided not to ask further.
Ooh!
We get more evidence of Fluttershy's nerves prematurely affecting her before she's actually on the journey, when she tries to stay behind in Ponyville.
I was thinking that, maybe I should just stay here in Ponyville.
At first, I thought it was quite strange how Twilight was giving her the back-hoofed response by not acknowledging her anxiousness at all.
I know you're busy, but... But if I could just have a second...
But then I was relieved how her attention span for studying the map was quickly broken when Twilight reminded Fluttershy of her importance in the travel.
Wait, you have to come. Your way with wild animals will surely come in handy.
Fluttershy's realistic depiction of being a reluctant explorer mixed with Rainbow's respectful moment of trouble for her sanity makes for a good ending to this segment.
Are you sure you want Fluttershy to come along? I mean, that pony's afraid of her own shadow.
The main six finally reach the base of the mountain and they begin to ascend it to fill up most of the episode's runtime.
I'm gonna fly up there and check it out. Hold on now. I think we should all go up together. Safety in numbers and all.
AJ,
Stop right there, criminal scum!
I'm sorry, but that idea of sticking together as a group for the trip, while safer, is hardly gonna do you any good, at least in my eyes. It's always helpful to know beforehand what the trail ahead is gonna be like in any sense. There are hiking trails that can be awfully dangerous if you don't know where you're going, even if you have a map. Speaking from experience as an ex-scout.
I honestly expected a
Are we there yet? No!
joke from Rainbow, which thankfully didn't happen. Instead, we had a bit of an amusing interaction between Rarity fantasizing about the dragon's jewels. Okay, not those kind of jewels, stop it!
Get some help.
And Pinky exaggerating it as usual.
Welcome to my cave, Rarity. Care for a diamond?
This second utterance from Pinky seconds later was hilarious too.
Hey, what are you waiting for? An invitation? Ooh, I think I have one in my bag.
Seems like the animators have played Skyrim before. I guess in a fantasy setting, the usual laws of physics wouldn't really apply much, especially comparing to Pinky. I mean, I don't quite know what kind of interdimensional prison cell can hold the Pinky-ness of Pinky.
You're crazy, girl.
AJ taking charge and getting Fluttershy's goat-like state up the mountain was lovely. Along with some nice choices of music, the group gets stalled again at a treacherous chasm that Fluttershy isn't too comfortable of getting across.
But it's so wide.
Hearing Fluttershy's repeated worries about the obstacles they face feels like something straight out of We're Going on a Bear Hunt, and it's so comedic.
We can't go over it. We can't go under it. Oh no! We've got to go through it!
her friendship with Pinkie Pie, that was made from the Griffin the Brush-Off episode, receives another respectful sequence when she gives Fluttershy some musical encouragement.
It's not very far, just move your little rump. You can make it if you try with a hop, skip and jump.
We don't have time for this.
Can't you shut up?
Okay, Twilight, honey, you are setting out on a tedious journey to convince a fully grown dragon to leave his napping place. You're not dealing with Spike here. Yes, I know she's only season 1, Twi. That comes with an overbearing sense of duty, but for the love of Hillary Duff on a stick, let Pinkie lighten up the mood!
You Pinkie promise!
There's several points in this episode where Twilight exclaims that there isn't much time to waste, or
We don't have time for this.
and it felt unneeded when the established danger doesn't seem to escalate during the episode, and it's a bit of a letdown. And then we get possibly the most intense scene in the episode. The silence that tests our characters' limits until it culminates with them all inadvertently causing an avalanche to happen was incredible.
So, the avalanche scene. Where do I begin? Oh yeah, how is this part of a kids show? Think of the children! From the moment the avalanche begins to the time it ends, while as short as it may be, definitely gives us quite a bit of action and danger to unfold. It seriously took me by surprise when I first watched the episode, and I still enjoy it.
This may be a bit of a nitpick, but Rarity and Rainbow's tiny chat was personally funny to me.
Oh, please tell me I brought the tiara that goes with this.
Think we got bigger problems than making sure our hair bows match our horseshoes.
Now, where have I heard something like that before?
Oh, let me just get to my makeup. Yeah, now it's never too late to learn to properly apply makeup.
The slow descent of Fluttershy's independence hands us a bit of compassion. I'm fairly certain that people who experience depression can relate to Fluttershy's current situation. The conflicts she faces must be truly stressful, and with the heedless behavioral traits coming from one or two of her friends.
Come on, Fluttershy. We should be much farther along by now.
Oh, great. She's scared of caves now, too.
Makes me wish that there was more focus on the characters that support Fluttershy mentally along the way, except for the complete arse that Rainbow is being.
My apologies.
Not your fault.
That makes me cringe! Then we get to the main conflict of the episode, where the mares come face to face with the dragon. Ah! It's Smog! Twilight assuming that Fluttershy will
Do what she needs to do to
was so off-putting. The obvious fear that she's been displaying the entire journey, which doesn't seem to have crossed Twilight's mind, sadly spoils the adventurous fun this story provides.
If you're so afraid of dragons, why didn't you say something before we came all the way up here?
Right, Twilight. A, Fluttershy didn't say anything about it ahead of time because you were being gung-ho about completing the mission. B, you wouldn't give her the time of day to voice her concerns as you were so drawn to the map! I'm the map, I'm the map, I'm the map. And C, while she is, as you said,
You have a wonderful talent dealing with all kinds of animals.
I doubt there's any zookeeper or animal keeper that doesn't have that one animal they don't keep around, either because of personal phobias or because of once having bad experiences with them.
Because he's not a huge, gigantic, terrifying, enormous, teeth-gnashing, sharp, scale-having, horn-wearing, smoke-snoring, could-eat-a-pony in one bite, totally all-grown-up dragon.
I ain't bothered!
With the traditional selfish dragon that loves nothing but gold and riches, mixed with Twilight, Rarity, and Pinkie's methods of trying to expel him, was something special. Twilight's rationality working against her without Fluttershy's extensive knowledge on dragons made me chuckle.
So you'll find another place to sleep?
The same can be said for Rarity's amorous offering that gets slapped right back in her face, using greed as an approach rather than kindness.
Couldn't possibly head back home without mentioning what handsome scales you have. I think you should skip the snoozing and be out there, showing them off.
Then, of course, we get Pinkie trying out her partiness on the dragon.
Sharing a lap is a surefire way to get someone on your side. Apparently he doesn't like laughing.
You wake me up looking like some kind of weird amalgamation of a party all in one place, and that might garner the same effect.
Get out!
Congratulating Rainbow on her impetuous behavior, the dragon goes batshit crazy. And we all know what happens next, and well, it's time for Fluttershy's extravaganza! The boulder splits in half to slide the spotlight onto Fluttershy as the close-ups on her pissed off face establish her fear being put to rest.
How dare you! Just because you're big doesn't mean you get to be a bully.
It was such a phenomenal scene to behold, as the way Fluttershy up front admonishes the dragon was quirky as heck.
You do not hurt my friend!
Get away from her, you bitch!
It's always nice to see the shy one of the group stand up to a big bad beast attacking your friends. Like the dragon, when I saw Flutters not only putting on her big girl britches,
You got that.
I remembered why she'd put up with Discord later in the series.
Well, guess what, Sassafras? I'm opposite Fluttershy, and I'm sick of being nice and quiet all the time!
Fun fact for you all, the stare ability that Fluttershy possesses was originally meant to be addressed in these last few moments of the episode. However, that concept was saved for the future Season 1 episode, Stairmaster. Oh, and yeah, that episode was written by Chris Savino too.
Major respect points to her for being motherly towards a dragon.
Don't you but I mean, mister.
Stern at first, but kind when said dragon owns up to his mistakes.
There. No need to cry. You're not a bad dragon.
With the dragon finally leaving the mountain and the Pegasi on the ground clearing the sky, everything is happy once again. Then we get informed of what the friendship lesson was by Twilight's typical explanation.
This adventure has taught me to never lose faith in your friends. They can be an amazing source of strength and can help you overcome even your greatest fears.
I can agree that the message was satisfactory with its place in the episode. Despite the short length of this epilogue, it was gratifying to see Rainbow getting pranked with a simple dragon roar impression.
Dragon!
Oh, I loved this sense of karma being inflicted upon arguably the sturdiest member of the main six.
Not every pony can be as brave as me.
What an ending.
Now that the episode's finished, I'll give you guys my overall thoughts on Dragonshy first before Faolan's. So, here we go. While this, once again, was the first real episode of the series I've seen, I fairly enjoyed it. The pacing was pretty good, and I got to praise that avalanche scene. What really stuck out to me was our pink-haired animal lover herself. That was her first outing into becoming more than just her namesake. Although, there were the odd nitpicks I had, notably with plot progressor bot Twilight. I might not recommend this as a starting point for anyone who's new to Friendship is Magic. But I do say this is a solid episode for Fluttershy and her upward battle into the Sassy Shy. I was thoroughly entertained throughout. I'll give this one the speed seal of approval and a score of 8 out of 10.
Okay, now it's my turn. So, Fluffbutts, say this with me. Was it a yay or a nay? If I'm being honest, I'm just glad I knew this episode wasn't a total failure like how the previous one was. Dragonshy felt like a breath of fresh air, and it was actually a pretty decent eventful story. If Friendship is Magic was aimed at a much younger audience, this episode would have made for a good finale. I think my answer will be agreeable to most people. I'm giving this episode a shining green yay. Dragonshy is one episode you can't help but falling in love with. I can say that this episode hits it out of the park. The adventure plot was nicely kept relevant, and Fluttershy's concoction of emotional performances always had me cheering her on until the end. Her last scene with the dragon was amazing, and I enjoyed the many comedic sections thrown in. McCarthy's writing is splendid for her first writing contribution in the show, and it has me very excited for when I cover her next episode. I will say that this episode does slip up a handful of times, with how it made Rainbow act like an absolute jerk and Twilight returning back to her isolative bookworm roots. Their moments in the episode occasionally threw me right off. I wish that there were a few more obstacles for our characters to deal with instead of being a child's hiking trip at best, but I can firmly say that the advantages in this episode work much better than its flaws. This was a fairly tip-top watch overall, although with the slumber party episode in sight, it probably won't be the same as this one.
This is gonna be the bestest slumber party ever! Yay!
Yay.
Or maybe it will. You never know. Don't forget to get this review to 10 likes and it will be produced. I award Dragonshy a yay and a 7 out of 10. But since this review is a collab, both mine and Steve's scores will be combined to make the official result. So adding 7 by 8 and dividing it by 2, we can give the actual score. Dragonshy gets a 7.5 out of 10. Oh boy, it feels good to have some hope implemented back into the tier list. So guess what, fluffbutts? Dragonshy is receiving a solid place in the B rank on the Season 1 tier list. This episode was genuinely engaging and Fluttershy was equally awesome. There may be some specific issues with a couple of characters and plot advancements, but this was a very nice story to enjoy nonetheless. Woohoo! That does just about it for my review on the Dragonshy episode, fluffbutts. I sincerely hope you have enjoyed this review and I cannot wait to continue making more of these in the future. Don't forget to get this video a like and subscribe to my channel for more exciting content coming soon. Do comment your thoughts down below on what you thought of Dragonshy and if you agree with me or not on my review. And I will see you all very soon. Goodbye!